This Racecraft TV stream is brought to you by Artesian Builds. Artesian builds high-quality custom PCs made to order for a low price. Contact Artesian Builds today to get started on your own custom PC as low as $64 a month. All Artesian builds are made live on stream. You can watch your builds and talk to the builders live at twitch.tv/Artesian Builds. For more information about Artesian Builds, check the link in the description.
Welcome to the NASCAR NRE competition design. Oh, gosh, I'm sorry. I'm still new to this. Austin decided to throw me on the spot today. Welcome to the NRSA Cup Series presented by Racecraft TV. I'm Tyler Vickery and Austin Knight's alongside, and we are going to be here for a fun race here at Darlington Raceway. Mile and 3/6, the paperclip, but a little bit different, so it's going to be fun. Austin, I know you've got all of the information as they're deciding to change up some things tonight.
Yeah, it is another great day here in Darlington. The Lady in Black makes her appearance on the NRE Power Systems Cup Series races. We are prepared to go 200 miles, 150 laps around this oddly shaped circuit, the first super speedway ever constructed in NASCAR, and I love the shape and the story behind this track. The reason why the final few corners are just tighter is that there's a swamp right behind that area, and the owner didn't want to give away that land, and so they just said, okay, we're just going to adjust the track so it just, you know, works. Well, Bethesda, it just works. And these drivers are struggling with this track, as we saw in practice. A few of them not being able to, well, really get very comfortable with the car, and it's kind of got a little bit of a concerning with the setup that these guys are running. It is a fixed setup, so they can't really adjust it, and it's going to be a very tight race as they love to favor that very high line. And this is also the track where banking was kind of firstly introduced, but more as a safety feature. And then those clever racers, those boys, they've realized they can just go faster. They just run on that banking. We're going to find out as let's go into qualifying.
As right now, Chad Coleman just finished up his second lap, fifth quickest on the night, 27.2 currently. Andrew Navarro is leading with a 27 flat. Qualifying times coming in right now, and they are actually pretty close. From first, never mind, Matthew T. Lee decides to burst that bubble. The first one in the 26s as well.
Yeah, Matthew Lee, as he wanted to call, just ignore the T in his name. Currently
Okay.
sitting up there on pole, and he's going to be very happy about that. The 04 looking very nice right now with Adrian Navarro right behind him. Justin Michael just finished his lap. He's currently sitting in 4th place. Only 10 drivers putting in a valid lap. Gabriel Ellison is putting in his first lap as he's running that high line, and that high line is going to be very useful here, especially in that tighter turn, and especially when trying to manage these tires. It's a very wide track, but only about 2.25 lanes of actual space to able to be running here, as we're looking at Gabriel Ellison get a little bit loose as he comes down the front straight and comes across the line. If you hear any knocking, those are my 2 nieces trying to annoy me.
Yep, as I'm gonna keep an eye here on Gabriel Ellison putting in some more practice laps. Him and Derek Fulton are the only 2 still on the track, as Derek Fulton is now coming to a stop.
Let's right on board with Gabriel Ellison as he takes us. Let's seriously right on board with Gabriel Ellison as he takes us around a lap here at Darlington, holding that outside line, going back down low, and then swinging back high. And that's the high-speed section, and now the tricky section here at Darlington, where you had to get off the throttle, coast around, maybe ride the brakes just a little bit. And you see him controlling the front end of that car, and this track is very narrow.
Yeah, you can just see, I mean, on just overview, you might barely be able to get a too wide here. I mean, you can see how close he is from almost scraping the wall. But just this track alone, you've got to be very diligent on your moves. One wrong move here at this track could dispel disaster for you as well as your opponent, especially if you're going too wide or trying to make a passing move. Ooh. I mean, you could see there the setup is very loose for these guys. Some of the drivers were talking about the setup being loose, as there's that Darlington stripe by Gabriel Ellison already, and just giving us I mean, you could just see it's going to be very tough to see what these drivers are going to do, and we're going to see a lot of these cars scraping the wall as well.
Yeah, we're definitely going to be seeing a lot of Darlington stripes on these cars on the right-hand side, and it is not a favorite track of among some drivers here on iRacing, as we only have 14 cars registered for this race. Some didn't like the setup that they were practicing with, so they just decided not to go out on track right now. But we do have a race here. 14 cars lined up for us here today for 200 miles. So I was kind of fearing that it was going to be a little bit of a rough race today, but with these 14 cars, 50% fuel capacity, it's going to be a good race indeed for these guys. And I can tell you, good playoff and good position points, as remember the top 10 get points, and with only 14 cars in here, I have a feeling almost everybody is going to be a good favorite on earning some good chunk of points for this week.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, and the other thing too, like you were saying too, the stages are even different too. They have the race control has decided to make things interesting tonight. So instead of our normal 2 short distance stages and then our long distance stage, they decided to change things up. So tonight, it's actually going to be stage 1 and stage 2, consisting of 60 laps, and then third stage 30. And like you said earlier, with that 50% fuel, strategy will be a key.
And here is our starting grid. We started with our butt kicker pole position award winner of Matthew Lee. Once again, starting up there with Andrew Navarro right beside him. Nicholas Sacco in third, followed by Justin Michael, Wayne Lowe, Ryan Kendall, Gabriel Ellison, Derek Fulton, Chad Coleman, Rhett Tucker, Brady LaBeouf, and Torrey Thompson in 12th place. They're followed by Richard Beasley and Greg Wellen at the end of this 14-car grid. And 60 laps to go. Well, 60 laps to start it off, and it's going to be very interesting to see how these guys pull it off here today for the NRE Power Systems Cup Series Darlington 200.
Pace car's rolling off. What's your pick? I know usually you always ask me first on who you think's gonna end up on top tonight, but I'm curious, who do you have for your pick tonight, Austin?
I gotta go with Matthew Lee. He's just been so consistent. He's consistently up there, and he's really made a name for himself out there. And I'm trying to get his name to get rid of the T right now because he got on me because we just kept saying Matthew T. Lee, and there it goes. Now it's just Matthew Lee.
Yep. Right. And so then my pick, I think I'm gonna have to go with somewhat of an underdog, even though he not really is. I'm gonna go with Justin Michael. He's always had that pace and can always catch someone off guard. He's a really quick driver as well. His pace car's off as well.
Pace car's off, green flag in the air. It's time to go racing and dancing with the lady in black here at Darlington International Raceway. Here we go. Good start. Matthew Lee jumps the field of Agent Navarro, and we got a caution immediately.
Ellison involved. Oh boy, oh my goodness, that car is junk already.
And let's watch that replay. Slow start back in the field. Gabriel Ellison has spun up the wheels, and Rhett Tucker came into his side.
Awkward.
So, big damage for Gabriel Ellison, and it looks like Rhett Tucker is also... Well, actually, Rhett Tucker's car doesn't look that damaged. Sure, he's got some crumble zone right there. That is definitely not going to be helping him in any way, but Gabriel Ellison's car, look at the front right of that car.
Yeah.
He's already got the Darlington stripe going.
That and the right rear. Boy.
Yeah, no fast repairs, remember. No fast repairs, but very rough way to start a race. Immediately with a caution, just spun up the tires. And, you know, I'm not surprised he did that. The track's just a little bit chilly out there. And, you know, just couldn't warm up the tires, get them up to temperature. And in these early times, I know it's May 15th, 2021. We're in the future. But still, the setup, everyone was complaining about it. It is the high horsepower setup instead of the high downforce, high horsepower. So it's a bit of a difference. And it's going to be very interesting to see as we're seeing Adrian Navarro on the very bottom of the track. He's just holding that line. You know, I think he's fuel saving.
So is Rhett Tucker as well.
This might be a strategy.
It's going to be... Yeah. Right now with Gabriel Ellison in the pits, getting all that damage repaired as well. He's got into his box now. I mean, looking at the temps, it's partly cloudy, 72 degrees Fahrenheit. Track temps at 75, so it's pretty cold out too. So I mean, well, not really cold, but 75-degree track temp. I mean, that's a cold track temp. Normally, you'd see track temp between 80s, 90s, or 100, depending on the day. So, already right now down to 75, and it's now 8:20 in the evening on the way that the sim is saying. So, interesting seeing that the track temp is as cold as it is now, and it's gonna be scarier as the night goes on.
It certainly is going to be scarier as the night goes on, and, you know, it might show us just a little bit of how this race is going to go as Richard Beasley and Rhett Tucker, as well as Greg Wellen and Gabriel Ellison, head into the pits. We're going to have a race off pit road right now, led by Richard Beasley. And as we're looking at this, I'm getting kind of a Dober vibe right now.
Yeah. I think some of the way this setup is, it's kind of, I think it's reminding some of them of Dover. And Richard Beasley and Greg Wellen only stopped for fuel, so they're playing the fuel strategy game, especially with 60 laps in the stage. So a lot of things can happen here.
60 laps in the stage, 14 cars on track. Very easy to get some points and especially get a leg up on someone just by fuel. You don't have to fight through a lot of people to get into a very wonderful spot. So lights go out on the pace car. Let's get ready to go. Again.
I'm definitely can say this now. Some of the drivers are picking fun with each other right now. Curtis Critchley was being funny over the chat, saying that he's retiring. He retired to team owner. so, so already some jokes flying around the pit stalls apparently.
Yeah, I feel like this race is going to be very drivers poking out a lot of fun. A few people in chat are having some fun. Quote, Richard Beasley is a brilliant tactician. Well, we're going to find out who's a brilliant tactician, who's got the pace. They go back to green. Early start by Matthew Lee.
And that was really quick. And I thought Andrew Navarro was leading, but never mind, as they got separated very quickly.
Yeah, Matthew Lee had all the advantage. Actually took advantage of the dotted white line and used that runoff to his advantage and went straight down there as we're looking around the field right now. Navarro getting closed in on Matthew Lee as Tory Thompson is in the wall, getting a big Darlington stripe on that checkered flag, 88.
Yeah, that checkered flag might turn into a black flag if he keeps that up.
And brilliant tactician Richard Beasley down the inside of Rhett Tucker for 9th.
Beasley's got to start making some moves and catching up to the rest of the field. Already 4 seconds off after the incident with Tory Thompson in the wall.
Well, it happens. And Rhett Tucker going way down low on the track.
Tucker knows how bad that damage
He's got
is.
damage.
It must be a lot. Yeah, it must be a lot worse than he thought, as he is coming into the pits now, and Ellison has already put the car on the hauler as well.
Well, Ellison retiring to team owner right there. Rhett Tucker already a team owner. He might go to there and help some of his buddies throughout this race. But looking throughout the field, is there another Rhett Tucker car on the track?
I don't know. That's interesting. Let's see. Yeah,
No,
don't see the familiar faces.
No, we don't. Wow, usually the biggest team.
Yeah, no Curtis Critchley either.
Well, it being a 14-car field, we were expecting a lot thinner field because Darlington's not a big fan. But
reading the chat a little more, I think Curtis Critchley actually retired to just a team owner now. Actually, I'm seeing on it too. It looks like, supposedly. So Curtis Critchley is now just being a team owner.
But the team that is there in numbers is CGE, quote, too stonk, or RTR. The CGE boys with Matthew Lee, one of their drivers, and Andrew Navarro as well, I believe. CGE 1, 2, 4, and 8 was their qualifying. So Justin Michael, I believe another CGE driver. They can correct me if I'm completely messing this up. I'm just going by what they said in the qualifying times.
I don't blame you. That's all we can do. But as of right now, Matthew Lee is just
this is the Phantom.
From...
This is the Phantom, guys. It's the Phantom graphics, guys. CGE is just one of the sponsors.
Okay.
But, oh, Noah Fulton, as soon as I started talking on about him, gets a Darlington stripe up there in his back quarter panel.
Yep. That didn't take long for Fulton. We got Tory Thompson slow on the track right now as well. Probably just coming out of pit. Well, actually, no, he did not go into the pits, so Something is wrong with that car as he's getting back on track now.
We're looking at our battle for the lead. Angie Navarro sitting on the back of our butt kicker pole position winner of Matthew Lee. Defending on that inside line. Navarro's getting a good run. That Mustang looking powerful right now. He gets a big jump heading into 3 and 4.
Yeah, got a really good move there, but it's just Darlington is being Darlington right now. Is really Navarro's trying to play it as safe as he can. You want to run that aggressive, super low line as he did right there, but that enough momentum just sends you right back up to the wall. So these guys, whoa, my
Big wiggle.
that was a little, yeah, big wiggle there on Navarro's car.
Now Navarro, he can play this smart if he just stays close. He can actually save some fuel if he just stays with Matthew Lee. But you need to kind of watch out behind you because the defending champion Nicholas Sacco has closed in a lot on these two.
And Nicholas Sacco, he's on a hard charge right now, and he's actually running right in between Navarro and Matthew Lee's lap times right now. Lee just ran his last lap of 28.1. Navarro ran a 28.3, while Sacco ran a 28.2. So Sacco's getting into the mix now if he can keep this up.
Navarro's taking a very weird line into these corners, taking it more like an oval track. He's actually cutting the corners a tad bit, and that's allowing Sacco to close up. And look at, and he can actually get so close, he can actually make out the Cobra on the back of Adrian Navarro's car. This is the first time I've ever realized that Adrian Navarro had a Cobra on the back of his car. I think that's a Cobra from Cobra Kai.
He's got it. Probably instead maybe the Shelby from Shelby.
That too.
I mean, because they are running Mustangs, aren't they?
Details, okay.
'Cause,
But that's not on the normal Ford.
I don't think it's on the normal. I don't think it's on the normal.
It's not on
Ford.
the normal Ford because that's a Mustang, not a Cobra.
Yeah,
But look at Sacco looking on the outside.
It would still be the same thing. Navarro wiggles again coming out of turn 2. Seems like the rear of Navarro's car just does not want to stay planted at all.
Oh, here comes Sacco. The switch back, looking down low. Sacco's up in a second.
Navarro let Sacco go by there easily without any hesitation because Navarro knew he was running a much quicker pace than him. Oh, look who's coming back too. Justin Michaels in the 87. He's now in the mix as well.
Yeah, Justin in the 87 511 car. Trying to close in on Navarro, and Navarro's just struggling to keep that car under control. You know, you could go up to the lady in black, you could talk to her for a little bit, but when you start dancing, oh, you need all your moves to tangle with her. And Andrew Navarro, I don't think he's much of a tangler. I think he's more of a salsa guy.
Possibly.
I don't know what kind of dancing they would do on the Seven Seas cruise ships. We might have to ask him.
Yeah, I got a fair point there.
Like, I know she loves to tango. Navarro dies down low. Yeah, he's just struggling with this car.
I think yeah, he let both Sacco by and Michaels by. So
I don't see any damage on the car.
He's really struggling on.
I feel like
Yeah,
he's
I don't
just
see any
overheated
damage
his
either.
tires, and he might be just struggling with a lot of tire wear right now.
Because his lap times have dropped significantly. He's down into the 29s already, almost into the 30s. He's dropped that much.
I love our YouTube chat.
Oh gosh.
The Macarena.
Yes, I just saw it too. Oh, boy.
That's not a dance style. But I think it kind of caused the craze of rap dances. As we got a battle for
Uh,
7th place right now between Derek Fulton and Wayne Lowe. And Fulton's up into the wall.
Ooh.
Big hit and
that's
another Darlington stripe.
Yeah, I think that Darling stripe has grown a bit too. And I think that right front's taken a little bit of beating as well.
And we got a replay queued up for us. Brady LaBeouf has had an issue. Let's take a look right here. Boom! Into the wall. And comes across track. Bang again.
Ow.
Spins around. He's at the very bottom of the track, and that car is toast.
Yep.
And Nicholas
Very
Sacco
unfortunate.
has caught up to Matthew Lee. Matthew Lee gets a Darlington stripe.
And that looked to be a lot lighter, though. It wasn't as aggressive as what's happened with Brady LaBeouf and Torrey Thompson. So, car still looks nice and clean, but at least that one wasn't as aggressive as Derek Fulton's.
Very unfortunate for Brady. He was running a good race. 10 cars on the lead lap. What?
Yep.
10 cars on the lead lap. Usually that would be a insane amount, but with the low, with the low participation today, it's not that surprising. But every car on the lead lap will be scoring a point.
Yep. And even if something happens, if they wreck, with unless, right? Well, actually,
We got 12
Torrey
cars
Thompson
on the
and
track.
Red Tucker just overtook Torrey Thompson for 11th, very easily too. It looks like on the live timing.
Yeah, Red Tucker and Torrey Thompson are still out there. As Sacco, oh, both of them get very close to the wall. Going up to the wall again, and Sacco's getting a big wall ride.
I guess I should be prepared to have some heart medication if they keep giving us heart attacks like that.
Nah, risk it. Who needs medication anyway? I don't use it.
Torrey Thompson was down on the low line there. He's just been struggling ever since the start of the race.
Greg Wellen right behind Wayne Lowe. Wayne Lowe going low, and Wayne Lowe's going way low. Justin Michael heads into the pit lane.
In the pit.
And he's joined by Wayne Lowe in the pits as well, and Torrey Thompson. So lap 30, halfway through this stage, everybody heading into the pit lane, and I think we're starting to see the strategy with some of these drivers. 60 lap stage 1 and 2, a 30 lap shootout at the end of this race. So the Cup Series going a little bit of showman style racing.
Interesting. Woo, as Sacco had a huge run, but he just lost it there out of 4. Actually, out of 2, my apologies.
Yeah, looking down the inside, he's just unable to find it. As we're racing here in Darlington, South Carolina, halfway through stage 1, Nicholas Sacco and Matthew Lee leading the field as Ryan Kendall has dropped off a lot. Kendall's had it off.
I think Kendall's heading into the pits because he is
really
good.
He just passed pit lane.
Oh, no. I think he botched pit entry.
Let's see what's happened here. As we go live, Matthew Lee and Nicholas Sacco are side by side as they race into the pit lane.
What a pass by Sacco. Wow.
Here's that replay as we were looking into the replay. Nicholas Sacco was drifting it on the bottom side to get ahead of Matthew Lee. Wow. And there's still nose to tail, even in the pit lane, going into their pit box. As taking over the lead, it is Andrew Navarro. Greg Wellen and Richard Beasley, they went into the pits on lap 3. They're now ahead of Matthew Lee and Sacco as Fulton and Kendall hop into the pits as well.
Mara, Coleman, Wellen have all stayed out another lap.
And coming out of the pits,
And
it's going to be Nicholas
Sacco.
Sacco.
Sacco beats Matthew Lee out of the pits, and look how quickly he is pulling away, too.
As Justin Michaels passes them around the outside, pulling out the
Navarro
undercut.
into the pits. And Navarro into the pits. Chad Coleman stays out. So does Greg Wellen. He stays out as well.
And that fight at the front falling away. Pulling away from a lot of people. We still got that fight between Wayne Lowe and Derek Fulton.
Beasley
right,
was
Tucker in there, but Tucker is in the wall again.
Tucker's just not having a great night. It's Chad Coleman into the pits. Beasley into the pits as well. Greg Wellen stays out.
Wellen, another one of those
Greg
lap
Wellen
3 pitters. And he's the only car on the lead lap.
Wow. Well, here's the interesting thing. Beasley could have stayed out just as long as Wellen did, because Beasley pitted at the same time Greg Wellen did. So, curious on what the strategy is between Beasley and Wellen, as Wellen stays out for another lap, it looks like.
Wellen looking as much time to stay in the lead as he can, lead all those laps, and maybe look out with a well-timed safety car right behind him. So he would still need to come in for fuel, and that's what he's going to do right now.
Yep, smart move by him. He's got a full lap over everyone else, but he will be giving the lead to Justin Michael. A little slower on pit entry there, but that car's still nice and clean. Michaels is still 28 seconds behind Greg Wellen.
Looking at the cars on track right now, Matthew Lee and Nicholas Sacco are closing in on each other. 7/10 separate them.
But they are catching up to Justin Michael, who's a second and a half ahead of them. And Justin Michael now takes over the lead. 3-lap difference as well on pit strategy, so we'll see if this helps Justin be able to make it to the end, but at the same time, got to keep an eye on Nicholas Sacco and Matthew Lee on their fight for second, because if they keep fighting, this is going to help Justin out for the stage.
Another fight down the field. Chad Coleman closing in on Derek Fulton right now.
And with Fulton having all that damage from earlier, this might be somewhat...
A little bit tight.
That's...
Watch it.
Yeah, a little
Watch
tight.
it.
Okay,
Coleman's
not
got
too
it.
close for comfort.
Like we were saying earlier, it is a tight track, so making a pass here is going to take a little bit of guts. But Chad Coleman, he's definitely got a fast car right now.
Oh, and I think Fulton just smacked the wall again coming out of 2.
Going up, looking at the field. Justin Michael leading this race. Only by 1.2 seconds, followed by Nicholas Sacco and Matthew Lee in 3rd place. And Matthew still putting in good times to challenge Nicholas Sacco ahead of him.
Yeah, and Lee is putting it right now out of the top 3, make that top 4. Andrew Navarro is actually running quicker lap times than the top 3 by only about a 1/10 of a second.
Oh,
However,
Andrew.
Michael...
Remember what we saw with Andrew? The start of the race, he's very quick, but something about his tires, they just fall off middle of the race, and that just shows you how he's driving. And Justin Michael, his lead is completely fallen away, as now he's just 9/10 ahead of Nicholas Sacco.
Yep, and the tires are falling off, and you can see Michael running that right next to the wall. And now, and remember too, with that update we've had with that arrow on the wall, he is trying to use that to every advantage he can take and try to keep this little gap he's got over Sacco, which is dropping by the lap. I mean, it's down to a 1/2 second now for Sacco behind Michaels. It's a 1/2 second now for that lead.
We just saw the pass for 5th place by Chad Coleman on Wayne Lowe. Back to our fight for the lead between these three. Justin Michael, Nicholas Sacco, and Matthew Lee. And Lee's fallen down to 3rd, completely past me. Sacco is a 2nd.
Yeah, Sacco's on a hard charge,
Sacco
too.
always a 2nd?
Yeah, oh
Yes,
yeah,
he
he
was.
did. Because remember, he passed him in the pits.
Yes, okay.
Sacco passed Lee in the pit.
I've gone crazy.
And Sacco, he's got a much better run right now. And I think those tires are already starting to fall off. 3-lap difference. Oh, that was close there. Is coming to the line, heading into 1.
Oh, he sent
Sacco
it.
takes over the lead, and
There he
he
goes.
was onto it.
He's got it. Nicholas Sacco, your new leader of the race. Let's right aboard with Matthew Lee trying to follow Sacco and follow suit, get past Justin Michael, but Michael, we've seen on how wide he can make his car. Can Matthew Lee do what Sacco did by sending it down low, but Michael knows exactly where he needs to put his car to defend for them. Gets a little bit of a Darlington stripe right there, pulling out a lot of the stops and a lot of sparks. Gets onto the brakes, he gets into him, and they collide! And Justin Michael spinning on the back straight.
Man, caution is out. Caution is out.
Caution
Wow.
is out here in Darlington with 15 laps to go. And
Well,
Michael
that
just checked up, got into the wall, and nowhere for Matthew Lee to go. And the 2 of the top 3 runners in this field now massively damaged. Justin Michael, very rough damage. And Matthew Lee, oh, his front end very caved in right now. And this might be a blessing in disguise for Andrew Navarro, as he's still in the fight, or Chad Coleman. But as caution is out with 15 laps to go, you're here watching Racecraft TV for the NRE Power Systems Cup Series Darlington 200. We'll be right back after these messages. This Racecraft TV stream is brought to you by Artesian Builds. Artesian builds high-quality custom PCs made to order for a low price. Contact Artesian Builds today to get started on your own custom PC as low as $64 a month. All Artesian builds are made live on stream. You can watch your builds and talk to the builders live at twitch.tv/Artesian Builds. For more information about Artesian Builds, check the link in the description.
Let's face it, to build a new website or redesign your existing site, you have 2 options. You can start by learning HTML, CSS, JavaScript, SEO, SQL, CMS, well, you get the idea. Or you can be smarter and look for someone who is a professional in web design like Sneed Competition Design. We are experienced in building quality websites for our clients. We always start with strategy and planning to build a clear vision about what you need. Your website will then be passed on to the design and development phase, where we will ensure that you get a fully responsive design that is easy to use regardless of any device using the latest tools in web development. Contact us today, and let's talk about accelerating your business to the next level by creating a complete online solution.
Welcome back to Racecraft TV. We are back here live at Darlington for the NRE Power Systems Cup Series here at the Lady in Black, underneath the lights in this black Darlington, South Carolina sky. Lap 48 of 60 here in stage 1 here, the Darlington 200. Nicholas Sacco leads out the field ahead of Chad Coleman, Wayne Lowe, and Andrew Navarro after a massive hit with Matthew Lee and Justin Michael, who is still lugging around his car that is massively damaged. He's desperately wants that top 10 spot at the end of the stage. Only 12 cars out on track right now. So, you know, he just needs to stay in there. Even if he's not going to be finishing this race, he still wants those points.
Yeah,
As the
and
lights are
those
out
points
on
are
the
going to
pace
be.
car.
Yep, with lights out, and then the points as well. Points are going to be key. Like we've been talking about already from last week to this week, points are going to be key. And I mean, especially with what we saw last season, how much the points mattered. So, I mean, just trying to stay out there as long as you can, and just to finish each stage and get whatever points you can. I mean, that's better than getting nothing, especially when you have a low participation for this race. And who knows, this race might end up saving you in case you have a big, massive wreck in another race that you end up getting no points completely.
So we're looking at our front row sitter right now, Nicholas Sacco. He's in control of the field. He puts the pedal to the metal. We get back going to racing. It's a very slow start by Wayne Lowe. Chad Coleman easily stays in second place. Andrew Navarro jumps up into third place, and now he's immediately looking in on the 38 of Chad Coleman. And with 10 laps to go here in stage one, we're going to have a little bit of a shootout.
Yep, a little bit of shootout. Ooh, Coleman's barely nicks the wall, and it shoots him down the track, but he's able to keep it. In control.
Look at Wayne Lowe finding the room out of nowhere and getting his nose down low on Andrew Navarro, and that's Matthew Lee right behind him. Even with that stricken car, he still knows how to go fast.
Yeah, Navarro had no idea what to do there because that caught him off guard.
And here comes Matthew Lee on Navarro.
Here comes Lee.
And Navarro just
absolutely sending it.
Yeah, Navarro just didn't want that to happen. And now Chad Coleman dancing on the bumper of Nicholas Sacco here for the overall stage win.
You can see just
on
Coleman's
the outside,
just staying on a bumper. Looking at him possibly trying to make a last-second move. See him looking down on the inside every so often.
Well, Sacco, if you're watching his line, he likes to go down low and he slowly drifts up the track. We might see a little bit of a switchback like we see on a few of the road courses right here from Chad Coleman.
Yeah, and Chad Coleman burning up the tires already, it looks like. He's starting to slow up a bit. Trying to find anything and everything he can to get around Sacco, but it looks like it's not going to be...
Caution's out.
Crap.
Derek Fulton.
Involved.
Oh, Fulton and Richard Beasley involved. No.
Boy,
That's what happened.
Here?
Fulton down low. He's got the 68 of Ryan Kendall on the outside. Just gets loose on his own. Comes across the track and hits Beasley as they drift down low. And it was just a light tap into the wall. So none of them really heavily damaged, but they do have some body work they need to get the sledgehammer out right there. And I believe this will end stage number one as it will go green with 1 lap to go. So your stage number one point scorers are Nicholas Sacco, finishing ahead of Chad Coleman, Wayne Lowe, Matthew Lee, Andrew Navarro, Wellen, Kendall, Michael, Fulton, and Richard Beasley in 10th place. You're here watching the NRE Power Systems Cup Series here on Racecraft TV. We'll be right back for the start of stage number 2.
build a new website or redesign your existing site, you have two options. You can start by learning HTML, CSS, JavaScript, SEO, SQL, CMS, well, you get the idea. Or you can be smarter and look for someone who is a professional in web design, like need competition design. We are experienced in building quality websites for our clients. We always start with strategy and planning to build a clear vision about what you need. Your website will then be passed on to the design and development phase, where we will ensure that you get a fully responsive design that is easy to use regardless of any device using the latest tools in web development. Contact us today, and let's talk about accelerating your business to the next level by creating a complete online solution.
Welcome back to the Racecraft TV presentation of the NRE Power System Cup Series Darlington 200. We're in Darlington. Well, you've messed up on the intro and I messed up on the rejoin.
Well, we're even now.
Alright, take a shot.
Oh, alright. Well,
Lights
as
are on the pace
lights
car.
are out on the pace car, so we got
This is-
Nicholas Sacco, as we're just slapping each other now, as Nicholas Sacco on the point, and Chad Coleman up on the outside. Surprisingly, Matthew Lee is still hanging up there on the outside row. Pace car's diving off, and Sacco gets on the loud pedal a lot earlier than everyone else
Green
expected,
flag,
and
green
Chad
flag.
Coleman trying to catch up now as the green flag is wove.
Now, I said that we're coming back here on the start of Stage 2 since Stage 1 had a caution near the end. That might not be true. This might still be Stage 1. We'll find out next time by, as they're about to go green and white flag, supposedly, for Stage number 1. We'll find out right now. Well, next lap, if there's a caution or not thrown. As I know, Michael McKinnon's watching it. He hasn't shown his cards right now, so not only is this a game between these three drivers up here for the overall stage win between Nicholas Sacco, Chad Coleman, and Matthew Lee as they're coming around the outside. Lee looking a little bit tight. Here comes Chad Coleman as they come across the backstretch, heading into the final turn. Oh, getting a little bit loose. Sacco holding that outside line. Coleman getting a little bit loose. It's a good drag race to the line as they come across the line.
Caution is out.
As
Caution
they
is out.
now end stage number 1. Nicholas Sacco takes the stage win officially this time, followed by Chad Coleman, Matthew Lee, Wayne Lowe, Adrian Navarro, Ryan Kendall, Greg Welland, Derek Fulton, Richard Beasley, and Justin Michael in that final points paying spot. You're here watching the NRE Power Systems Cup Series here on Racecraft TV. We'll be right back for the start of stage number 2 here at Darlington. This Racecraft TV stream is brought to you by Artesian Builds. Artesian builds high-quality custom PCs made to order for a low price. Contact Artesian Builds today to get started on your own custom PC as low as $64 a month. All Artesian builds are made live on stream. You can watch your builds and talk to the builders live at twitch.tv/Artesian Builds. For more information about Artesian Builds, check the link in the description.
Let's face it, to build a new website or redesign your existing site, you have two options. You can start by learning HTML, CSS, JavaScript, SEO, SQL, CMS, well, you get the idea. Or you can be smarter and look for someone who is a professional in web design, like need competition design. We are experienced in building quality websites for our clients. We always start with strategy and planning to build a clear vision about what you need. Your website will then be passed on to the design and development phase, where we will ensure that you get a fully responsive design that is easy to use regardless of any device using the latest tools in web development. Contact us today, and let's talk about accelerating your business to the next level by creating a complete online solution.
Welcome back to Racecraft TV. That's in the background. Whoops. For the NRE Power Systems Cup Series, Darlington 200 at the start of stage number 2. As anyone's going to question my musical taste. Can't go wrong, Casey and the Sunshine Band. Monday night karaoke here on Racecraft TV. It was just a force of habit. The ad ended and I just hit the button. I hit unmute and I was like, I forgot something here.
Yeah, Sherry, I can agree with you on the line.
Oh, no. She posted that before I say.
Oh.
But lights are out on the pace car. 60 more laps up there on the table right now. Nicholas Sacco, our stage 1 winner. He's looking very poised to stay in first place. And look who's right there in fourth. And a new car. He's now in that Papyrus car. That is Greg Wellen.
Interesting.
Now, papyrusracing.com. If you don't remember that name, Papyrus, it's the name of a small studio that made a little-known game called NASCAR NR 2002, and then they changed their name to iracing. So,
Yep.
little throwback of a name right there, and I think that name went to iRacing, and that's a nice start. And here we go. Nicholas Sacco puts the pedal to the metal. Let's start stage number 2. And the Papyrus car, Greg Wellen, down the inside and side by side with Navarro. Not going to work right there. Navarro going to hold that outside line and stay there. Well, Fulton gets a big wiggle right here, and here comes Wayne Lowe, down low on Fulton.
And the battle's just, you can see Lee doing everything he can, trying to be able to make it work. And I think everyone now is being patient, as with this being the second stage now. Everyone knows we've got 60 laps to run, so everyone's going to play patience here and see what they can do.
Patience is the key, young Padawan, as Yoda would say, or if any real Jedi master would say to a apprentice. As I'm getting very nerdy today. It's what happens when you just leave Star Wars on and while you work and just do practice for the Daytona 24-hour.
Oh yeah.
It just implants itself into your mind. As well as Duels of Fates. I will not try right there because I know the YouTube copyright system. I think it's going to play. Sacco bottoming out just a little bit on the entry and got shot up the track right here. And Matthew Lee, even with that small amount of damage on his front hood, just that draft is helping him out right now. And Matthew Lee hunting for that spot. Sacco goes wide. Here comes Lee looking down low. Trying to inch his way as they continue to race here. As they start lap 69 here at Darlington. Had to make sure. As Navarro, we starting to see him fall away from this fight for the lead. Sends it largely into there. And Navarro is desperately trying to stay with him, but, you know, this is the difference in driving style between Navarro and everyone else. His tires are seeming to fall off a lot more quickly compared to the rest of the drivers right now. As Ryan Kendall is limping right now, and that is a very damaged car. And here's what happened. Rhett Tucker down low on Ryan Kendall. Kendall holding that outside line. And, you know, well, he was just already slow. And Torrey Thompson has had an issue. As we were looking at that replay, Thompson into the wall of the 88.
Oof, and that's even worse. That's Thompson's in the pits.
Yeah, he's jumped to the pits after that.
Yeah, that's never a fun sign for him.
Chad Coleman on the back of Derek Fulton right now. And Derek Fulton having a very unstable car. As Chad Coleman's been having a very nice day out there. Just been stuck behind a few people.
Yeah, stuck behind a few people, but keeping it wound up, keeping it clean, and you can just see Chad Coleman trying to work his way back up, make some ground, and gonna try to make a clean pass here on the 7 of Derek Fulton. Oh, getting another stripe again for Fulton, but he's able to hang on to it too.
Oh man, Fulton around the outside, nicely held by him. I think his spotter might have told him that Fulton's in the wall. You might want to check up in case he goes down low, because we already seen 2 front runners get involved in there, that being Matthew Lee and Justin Michael, who's down in 11th right now. Matthew Lee sitting in 2nd. We see him at the very top of our shot, still fighting for the lead with Nicholas Sacco, but look at that front end of the car.
Yes, it's in really bad shape.
He's got the unicorn horn going as Andrew Navarro falls to Greg Wellen.
And Matthew Lee got into the wall again, and a little bit of scrape there, but boy.
Oh, and he's in the wall once more. And now we got a 3-way fight between Navarro, Coleman, and Fulton. Fulton looking down low after Coleman had to check up to avoid Navarro. Decides not to lunge in on it and stays down there in 6th place. Navarro trying to keep his tires well, but here comes Coleman. See, go down low. Coleman holding his line down there. He's just unable to get the speed on the straight, but heading into this corner, I feel like he can just maybe inch his way around him. He cannot. Navarro holds it around the outside.
Nope, and Justin Michaels is in the pits again. Ooh, as Fulton scrapes the wall again. Man, he's just not having a good night.
Yeah, and oh, they all check up once more mid-corner, and they almost get into each other. Coleman, oh, I think he might be a little bit frustrated right now, but he does have some speed heading out of the front straight. They're side by side entering turn 1. And Navarro has to go up high. Coleman down low. Navarro side by side, wheel to wheel with each other. They go down the back straight, heading into tight turn 3.
And look at Coleman. And look at Coleman trying to get everything. But look at Fulton with the run on the outside. Oh, Navarro slides in. Here goes Derek Fulton on the inside now, coming into 1.
That's how you do it. That's how the Canadian does it. They get into each other mid-corner.
Boy, Coleman's not going to be happy with that.
Coleman backed off all the way down to North Carolina right there. Return back to a single file line. Fulton diving down low on Navarro. Side by side they go again. Fulton getting a little bit loose off the exit. Gets a big wiggle right there. They fan out some more. Fulton has a half a car length heading into turn 1. Derek Fulton takes the lead in this scrap. He goes way up the track. He gets tapped by Navarro.
Oh, and Navarro saves it. Fulton.
Oh, and Fulton comes on the track directly into Navarro.
Oh, Tucker almost gets clobbered. Fulton almost gets absolute clobbered by Rhett Tucker, and he was able to avoid it.
Fulton gets bumped,
Wow.
and he kept it in the throttle and came right back up the track into Navarro. I'm not sure. I am completely shocked at that move by Derek Fulton right there. He just stayed on the throttle and came right back on track. The admins might have a look at that. But Derek Fulton bringing out the caution here on lap 79 of 150. A few more, about 18 laps in on stage number 2. You're here watching the NRE Power Systems Cup Series here on Racecraft TV. We'll be right back after these messages. This Racecraft TV stream is brought to you by Artesian Builds. Artesian builds high-quality custom PCs made to order for a low price. Contact Artesian Builds today to get started on your own custom PC as low as $64 a month. All Artesian builds are made live on stream. You can watch your builds and talk to the builders live at twitch.tv/Artesian Builds. For more information about Artesian Builds, check the link in the description.
Let's face it, to build a new website or redesign your existing site, you have two options. You can start by learning HTML, CSS, JavaScript, SEO, SQL, CMS, well, you get the idea. Or you can be smarter and look for someone who is a professional in web design like Sneed Competition Design. We are experienced in building quality websites for our clients. We always start with strategy and planning to build a clear vision about what you need. Your website will then be passed on to the design and development phase, where we will ensure that you get a fully responsive design that is easy to use regardless of any device using the latest tools in web development. Contact us today, and let's talk about accelerating your business to the next level by creating a complete online solution.
Welcome back to Racecraft TV. We are back here live at Darlington for the Darlington 200. Nicholas Sacco sitting at the front of the grid. Only 10 cars on the lead lap after Derek Fulton got in with Andrew Navarro after a small bump and run type situation. They're back under caution here on lap 82 of 150, sitting here as they race to lap 120 here in stage number 2. So lights are out on the pace car. Tyler, anything getting into your mind right now as we look at our front row of Greg Wellen and Nicholas Sacco?
Well, right now, I would say, especially we're working on lap 82 of 150. We're on 82 of getting ready to, still roughly 38 laps before the end of the second stage. I mean, strategy somewhat is still in a factor, but I would say it's survival now. I mean, you can see Rhett Tucker back up to 7th, trying to work his way back up to the front. I mean, a lot of these guys are just, you just got to keep the car clean now. I mean, at this rate, especially with the some of the damages that other drivers have right now, you've got to just be as safe as you can and keep that car clean.
Nicholas Sacco in control of the start. They're getting ready to go back to racing, back to the field, and here you go. Back to Green Flag Racing, and immediately caution out. And Nicholas Sacco gets a bad start. Chaos
Caution is out.
Chaos
34.
happening. Wayne Lowe involved.
Wayne Lowe spun the tires, and I feel poor Rhett Tucker and Navarro had nowhere to go.
Let's watch
Oh,
this
man.
replay again in slow motion. Everybody spins on the tires. Nicholas Soccer spinning up the tires. Wayne Lowe spun up the tires. Rhett Tucker found the hole. Rhett Tucker got collected by Wayne Lowe. Gets into Andrew Navarro. As up front, Chad Coleman got into the back of Nicholas Sacco. And Wayne Lowe barely escapes chaos right there. But he's kind of the one that started all of it. As we go back to full speed. Man, that was disastrous. Especially for Rhett Tucker. This is his second incident, and he's driving a modified right now.
Yeah, I mean, went from bad to worse for Rhett Tucker, and oh man.
The 99. Probably not going to be his favorite day, but I feel like he's going to try to stay out as much as he can. And you want to look outside right now? Is there a full moon out? Something?
It's gotta be.
Guys, this has been a weird night.
Yes, it has.
It is not a full moon tonight. It is January 28th. So in the sim it's a full moon. Or it's just nobody here knows really how to tango. But Greg Wellen takes over the lead now here in Darlington. And we'll be right back after a very short break here on Racecraft TV. This Racecraft TV stream is brought to you by Artesian Builds. Artesian builds high-quality custom PCs made to order for a low price. Contact Artesian Builds today to get started on your own custom PC as low as $64 a month. All Artesian builds are made live on stream. You can watch your builds and talk to the builders live at twitch.tv/Artesian Builds. For more information about Artesian Builds, check the link in the description.
Let's face it, to build a new website or redesign your existing site, you have two options. You can start by learning HTML, CSS, JavaScript, SEO, SQL, CMS, well, you get the idea. Or you can be smarter and look for someone who is a professional in web design like Sneed Competition Design. We are experienced in building quality websites for our clients. We always start with strategy and planning to build a clear vision about what you need. Your website will then be passed on to the design and development phase, where we will ensure that you get a fully responsive design that is easy to use regardless of any device using the latest tools in web development. Contact us today, and let's talk about accelerating your business to the next level by creating a complete online solution.
Welcome back to Racecraft TV. We're back here live at Darlington International Speedway. This is the lady in black providing a challenge for our drivers right now, as the lights are out on the pace car this time by, and it will be all in the hands of the Papyrus driver of Greg Wellen, sitting down low ahead of Nicholas Sacco. And after a very tragic start, a very eventful restart, which brought up damage on pretty much every car on the field except for Greg Wellen, and I believe a few of the drivers at the back. Oh man, it's going to be very interesting to see how these guys deal with this setup.
Yeah, I am with you there. We got right now still 10 cars on the lead lap, which is a good thing. But man, these guys got a lot of damage on their cars, other than Greg Welland and Nicholas Sacco right now, which is
Well, actually,
very
if you look at the back of Nicholas Sacco's car, on that restart, he got crunched in by Chad Coleman. As early start by Greg Well. We go back to green flag racing. Here in Darlington, Sacco gets a very bad start. Here comes Chad Coleman down the inside of Sacco. And there's Derek Fulton right there sitting in 4th place. He's going to try to make a move on Sacco. He's not going to be able to make it in the opening part. Welland pulling away from the field as it's Coleman in 2nd. Sacco 3rd. Big hit into the wall by Matthew Lee.
Ooh. It's just more damage he's got to add on. Boy, that's not good.
Brett Tucker found a hood. Brett Tucker somehow found a hood for his car and got that thing taped back together. He stays racing.
Yeah, and up to 6th as well too. So Tucker trying to get all the points he can get out of this night, especially after an eventful start to the night for him.
As we ride on board of Andrew Navarro, you just see Derek Fulton getting already unstable at the back end of that car. And when you're in that draft, you're going to have a little bit of dirty air behind of the car ahead of you and make it a little bit harder to control it. Even in that solid downforce setup that these guys are running, it is just a little bit too rough.
Yeah, it's really rough right now. So everyone's biding their time now, and I think these guys are going to start calming down a bit and just trying to find the right time to make a clean pass and just get that pass done.
Looking down the field, Richard Beasley trying to get past Ryan Kendall, who's behind Matthew Lee. Matthew earlier had that big smack into the wall, and he's not going to be happy about that. That's going to be hurt him as they're going to go 3 wide down the back straight. There goes Kendall on Lee. Beasley actually backed off right there. High tactical genius of Richard Beasley. Gets ahead of Matthew Lee right now, and now his next target is Ryan Kendall, but Chad Coleman is under pressure by Nicholas Sacco.
And Nicholas Sacco is trying to do everything he can and hanging on and make that actually great move by Sacco up to 2nd. And I looked behind Derek Fulton, Andrew Navarro trying to catch up to Chad Coleman. Coleman is struggling right now.
Struggling to heat up his tires, and it's all the way down to 5th place now.
Falling down to 5th place and starting to really fall off the pace now, as well as his lap times are not the greatest. He's actually almost losing a full 2nd off of Greg Welland.
I'm not sure what's happened to Chad Coleman. He's had a solid car all night. He didn't go into the pit lane after that restart, though. Everyone who was involved pretty much went in on lap 85. But, you know, they had 6 sets of tires tonight as more cars are getting out of the way of our leader of Greg Welland, who's just storming away with this race.
Yeah, and just seeing the gaps now, it's starting to really expand out as everyone's giving each other at least a half a second gap, roughly, as Nicholas Sacco's trying his best to catch up to Greg Welland. And looks like Greg Welland is starting to save some tire a bit, running a little bit slower lap times right now. But I have a feeling once Sacco catches up to Greg Welland, then Greg Welland's going to start picking up the pace again.
Nicholas is closing in on Welland. Half a second separates them right now. And that brings up our battle for first. And Greg Welland, currently our biggest mover of the race, up 13 spots from where he started, which, if you remember, Greg Welland didn't even put in a starting time.
Impressive, I mean, to say the least. Absolutely impressive.
As Nicholas Sacco went into the void for a little bit right there.
Yeah, never a fun part when that happens.
Also, another battle that we could look at. This is the battle for 6th place between Ryan Kendall and Rhett Tucker. Rhett struggling to keep pace with Kendall, though. He had a good run, but that was because Kendall got a little bit loose mid-corner, which is something that's not happening up here in the battle for the lead, where it's just 2/10 separating our two leaders. As they come around to start lap 100. 50 laps to go here in Darlington, but only 30 to go in this stage.
Yeah, 20 to go in the stage when they get to the line, and this battle has just gotten ever so closer now. And it's going to get even closer as Greg Willen's starting to put the pressure on Nicholas Sacco. Sacco's pushing a lot, trying to get to Greg Willen, and now Greg Willen has turned up the pace a bit now, and you can just see Greg Willen keeping that gap on Nicholas Sacco.
It is 20 to go in this stage, not 30. I got confused. The last stage is 30 laps. 30 minus 150, 120. Okay, math. Yes. And noticing these guys, I think a little bit of fuel management has to be done with these drivers, because they're just going to be barely making it on fuel. And if you went in on lap 87, I think you're definitely in there. But Greg Willen and Nicholas Sacco, they didn't go in. They last went into the pits on lap 80. So can they manage their fuel that well? And I think Willen just knows that as he lets Nicholas Sacco by into the lead.
Yeah, I think Willen knows what fuel's going to be like now, so he's backed off. Sacco's going to start probably pulling away a bit, but we'll see what Greg Willen's idea is, because we might just see Greg Willen here come into pit road and take a risk. But
as we're looking at a battle for 8th place, Wayne Lowe on Rhett Tucker. Rhett Tucker's backed off a lot, and Wayne Lowe, Tucker got into the wall, pulling out a Darlington stripe right there. Wayne Lowe up into 8th place.
Lowe doing everything he can as well, especially Tucker having the rough night. He's been still doing everything he can, and has been really impressive trying to get back up to the front, getting whatever points he can get to just be able to settle down and then try to figure out a way to get himself situated for next week.
We're looking at the battle for 5th place right now between Chad Coleman and Ryan Kendall. Ryan is just right behind him, and he's dancing right on the bumper right now in the MSR machine, as Kendall trying to have a good run on the outside, trying to switch back down low. So not going to be able to work for him this time by, but they continue on in the battle for the top 5. 15 laps to go here in stage number 2. And Derek Fulton is under pressure from Andrew Navarro in the battle for 3rd.
It's starting to get really interesting here, especially when we're coming to possibly getting the green-white checkers. I mean, not green-white checkers, possibly getting the green flag pit stops. So we're starting 106 of 150. Pretty much we've got 15 laps to go in the stage, and things are tightening up all around the track for battles.
Andrew Navarro is not holding up at all. He's putting in some good lap times. The leaders are not checking up at all. But Navarro, I would say, out of all the leaders, he would be the best one to get this stage win. If it stays green and nobody starts fuel saving out the wazoo, I think Derek Fulton realized he doesn't have enough fuel left.
Yeah, and be curious to see how these guys are going to play the strategy game, because strategy game's going to be key here, and trying to get it to the right, just trying to get the right setting and knowing how much fuel you're using is going to be another big key as well.
As the battle for 5th of Ryan Kendall and Chad Coleman, they swap spots. Chad Coleman now sitting in 5th place, Ryan Kendall right behind him, and they continue following and drafting with each other. They are closing in on the battle ahead of them with Andrew Navarro and Derek Fulton, who are just separated by half a second.
Separated by a half a second, and these guys, I mean, and Navarro's doing everything he can as well, and you just see how much that half a second is critical with him.
Also another battle on track. It's a battle for 7th place between Richard Beasley and Wayne Lowe. Beasley, strategy master as proclaimed by our members in chat right here. Trying to close in on 34. As, oh, little tap
Good.
into the wall right there. And
Just a little
Chad
tap.
Coleman gets past as we got green flag pits. Whoa, wait, no. Not a green flag pit stop. They were held up with each other. A little bit of tangling with happening out there on chat. On track with Ryan Kendall and Chad Coleman. Here's what happened. Chad Coleman got into the wall. And Ryan Kendall down low bumps him as they go down the track, but kept pointed straight on. We're still green flag racing here at Darlington, but very heated for 5th place.
Absolutely. And that could hurt Kendall in the long run, because especially when the stage ends, and there could still be some kind of retaliations or other situations later on with the 30 lap sprint to the finish.
30, about 10 to go here in stage number 2. Big fight on the grid right now is Andrew Navarro versus Derek Fulton for 3rd.
You can just see the gap's now wide open. Greg Wallen, 2-second gap, and you just see that gap really starting to pull away as well. And Derek Fulton trying to make a run. Meanwhile, Rhett Tucker further down in 9th. He's now a half a second for Richard Beasley. That looks like to be the closest fight. Is the fight for 7th. Wayne Lowe trying to...
Oh, Rhett sideways mid-quarter.
Oh, he keeps it off the wall after the first incident. Man, this battle's getting really tight now, even because he's trying to catch up to Richard Beasley. That gives Matthew Lee an opportunity on catching up.
They both had an
Wayne
incident.
Lowe
Oh, and
is
Tucker
trying to...
get in the wall.
Oh.
And there goes Lee with a speed of 1,000 horses down low and into 9th place. And Beasley into the wall.
Man, that right side for Rhett Tucker is not happy with him right
I think
now.
the right side for all these cars are not happy. And Wayne Lowe is under pressure hard. Well, actually, Wayne Lowe providing a lot of pressure on Chad Coleman ahead of him. As Lowe
And
looking
Tucker.
down low.
Tucker comes into the pits.
Yeah, he's sitting in 10th place, and I believe he's a lot of laps ahead of 11th place. Currently 20 laps ahead of the car right behind him as Andrew Navarro and Derek Fulton swap places. Derek Fulton down low. I think Derek Fulton's into the pits. He is into the pits. Derek Fulton's out of fuel. As Wayne Lowe and Chad Coleman, they swap spots.
Coleman's going to probably come into the pits pretty soon, because Coleman pitted on lap 80. Nicholas Sacco and Greg Wellen are on lap 80 as well, so we might see some pit stops here, because some of these guys might not have enough fuel.
Wayne Lowe going low. He now swoops ahead of Chad Coleman. He's in 5th. Chad Coleman falling way off the pace right now. And, yep, Coleman, I think, is going for a pit stop. He just dropped way off the pace, trying to save as much fuel as he can. And he's going to give up. He's going to go into the pit lane. Let's take a look around the track right now. Bring up our Racecraft TV minimap as we're looking at our leader of Nicholas Sacco. Into the pits on lap 80. Andrew Navarro will be the biggest advantage right here. Does Nicholas Sacco have 3 more laps left in that tank?
If he's able to hang on, both he and Greg Wellen, if they're both able to hang on with fuel, that's going to be a big advantage to him, because, I mean, if they're not able to, Navarro, Kendall, Lowe, and Beasley, and Matthew Lee are all
Nicholas
gonna
Sacco
take
looking
big...
down low. Nicholas Sacco is slowing down. Sacco is out of fuel. And now it's Greg Wellen in the lead. And Greg Wellen slows up.
He's out of fuel. I think he's running out of fuel, because he was gonna pit and he was just way too fast, I think.
Wellen slowed up a
think
lot
he's
right
on the
there.
clutch.
31 laps. Let's right on board with Andrew Navarro. Can Navarro catch up to Wellen with just a few quarters to go? They have another lap to go before they can do it. Navarro is looking down low. Navarro is out of fuel.
Well, go on board of Greg Welland. You can listen to him full clutch on the car right now.
Andrew Navarro is
saving
in the
every
pits.
single amount of fuel.
Andrew Navarro's in the pits. Now Ryan Kendall has the hot foot. Can he close in 5 seconds on Greg
Here's the
Welland?
thing, but listen to the car of Greg Welland. He's clutching it not even way before he even gets into the corner. He
It's
wants
silent.
to try to make it
His
to the
car's
end
silent.
of the
His
stage.
car is off.
His
His car is off.
He's full clutch. Yeah, he's full clutch. He's
And
full
he's going to
steady.
get it.
And he's going to be able to make it to the line.
What
Oh
a
my
drive and what a
goodness.
fuel save by Greg Welland. The driver from Menifee, the 40-year-old, he definitely knows how to handle a car, and his picker is going to be happy for him. He wins stage 2. What a ending to the stage as he's going to try to limp that thing back in there. It was a very close stage,
he's
and here
sputtering, I
is
think.
our top 10. Greg Welland, Ryan Kendall, Wayne Lowe, Matthew Lee, Nicholas Sacco, Andrew Navarro, Derek Fulton, Richard Beasley, Chad Coleman, and Rhett Tucker. Our point scores for stage number 2. You're here watching Racecraft TV for the NRE Power Systems Cup Series. Darlington 200 will be right back after these messages for the start of our shootouts in stage number 3. This Racecraft TV stream is brought to you by Artesian Builds. Artesian builds high-quality custom PCs made to order for a low price. Contact Artesian Builds today to get started on your own custom PC as low as $64 a month. All Artesian builds are made live on stream. You can watch your builds and talk to the builders live at twitch.tv/Artesian Builds. For more information about Artesian Builds, check the link in the description. Welcome back to Racecraft TV. We are back here live at Darlington International Raceway. Greg Welland taking the win after a massive fuel save. He's going to be leading out the field this time by as we start our 30-lap shootout here at Darlington for the NRE Power Systems Cup Series. Darlington 200 is going to be Greg Welland and Ryan Kendall making up that front row, followed by Matthew Lee and Nicholas Sacco. And if you look at this pace of everybody else, you're probably wondering, don't they look green this lap? Yes, they do. But everyone is saving as much fuel as they can. And this field is incredibly spread out right now, as only 7 cars are on the lead lap.
Yeah, those last few laps of this end of the stage really threw things for a loop, as 7 cars on the lead lap now, with Beasley, Tucker, and Coleman stuck a lap down.
Yeah, Nicholas Sacco at the very end of this queue. We got a few lap cars in there. Greg Welland in the proprietor's car in the command of this restart. Let's go. 30 more laps here at Darlington as we get underway. Green flag in the air. And Matthew Lee, amazing start already on the bottom of Ryan Kendall. They're going to go battle side by side. 26 laps to go.
And already just a full pedal to the metal now is Matthew Lee trying his best. You can see all that damage on the right front he has, but that right front may come in hand as well, as the tires won't get as super hot.
Oh, we got a car getting loose. That's Kendall. And there goes Nicholas Stock, who had a EOL on that restart, and that's why he wasn't sitting in that spot. Kendall struggling to find his spot, as there's Wayne Lowe right behind him.
Wayne Lowe just taking advantage of everything he can for points. He had a really rough Daytona race. So this is a big opportunity for Wayne to gain as many points as he can here, and he's doing very well, holding 5th place right now.
Kendall going high. All these drivers pretty much
that wall.
Staying stagnant. Brett Tucker is lap down to them right now, so he's not a part of this fight, but knowing right, he might get in for it anyway. As Andrew Navarro is off and he's struggling. Andrew Navarro's in the pit lane.
Ooh. Interesting there. Well, he got stuck out in that.
He's
he
hit
was
the
one
wall.
that won that pitted early, I think.
He's hit the wall.
That's not good. Really unfortunate there for Andrew Navarro. And that pretty much ends his chances on a win tonight.
As Greg Welland leading out this race in a dominant fashion. No, it doesn't seem like anyone can challenge him. Nicholas Sacco just put in the fastest lap of the race last time by with the 27:22.
He's on a charge.
He's definitely on a charge right now, and he's closing in on Matthew Lee.
0.7 of a second the gap. We're right now working 21 laps to go, working lap 130. I mean, he's got to get around Matthew Lee and be able to chase down Greg Welland. Ooh, it's Greg Welland had a check up there for one of the lap cars there. I don't know what number it was.
That's Andrew Navarro.
Ooh, wow, that's always a
He's down to
scary
10th.
sign. Down on the last points paying spot, but this is the final stage though. I'm keeping an eye on Sacco, and Sacco's just putting in good laps right now. Oh, Sacco's going in the.
Sacco looking for an early pit stop, trying to get an advantage, and he doesn't think he can have enough fuel to end this stage. We might have another one as Matthew Lee checks up. Greg Welland had a little bit of a incident. Matthew Lee's closed in on Welland.
Wow, that got interesting very quick.
And wouldn't it be something for Matthew Lee, who had a absolutely unavoidable incident right in front of him, cause that damage to take the win here. But remember, they might not have enough fuel to finish this race.
Exactly, and that's where it's a big gamble on who's going to be able to save enough fuel. We saw what Greg was able to do. I mean, the question now is could Greg be able to do the same thing?
Nicholas Sacco came out in 9th place. Can Nicholas get himself back onto the lead lap now? and challenge our leaders, or did he just put in a little bit too much of a gamble if it stays green flag racing?
Right now, only 5 cars on the lead lap right now. Derek Fulton's your last car on the lead lap. Keeping an eye, though, at Greg Wellen. He's just running a very clean pace right now, and question is does Lee have anything left in his tires to be able to catch up to Wellen? It looks like he does, but it's not as much as what you're thinking it would be, though.
I don't think it's tires. It's going to be fuel. The tires are going to be dead anyway at the end of this lap. It's going to be more about how much fuel can you save and how long you can stay on the clutch instead of how much you can take these tires for. As Nicholas Sacco closing in on Chad Coleman now. Actually, no, that's Chad Coleman closing in on Rhett Tucker in the battle for 7th place.
That's Tucker right now. He's had a really rough night, and I think Tucker's able to hold off Coleman for a bit. Coleman's second right now behind Tucker, and it looks like Tucker's possibly gaining some ground on Richard Beasley ever so slightly, though, as he's got his last lap time was half a second quicker than Richard Beasley.
That is true. 2.4 seconds separates Tucker and Beasley, but I feel like Tucker needs to watch out behind him just a little bit and see if anything happens as Nicholas Sacco still continues on behind him. 9 seconds behind Chad Coleman, who is closing in on Rhett Tucker. Let's bring up our track map right now so we can see a little bit of a comparison where everyone is on track, and it's a big hit into the wall for Rhett Tucker.
And that might have just gave Coleman the break he needed.
Yep. 0.7 seconds now separates Tucker and Coleman, as Nicholas Sacco just goes halfway, just crosses the start-finish line. He needs to do that and lap Greg Wellen, who is just now coming across onto the front straight right now. Nicholas all the way over in 9th place. You can see that progression with Nicholas Sacco on our mini-map in our upper right with that gamble of a pit stop with 11 laps to go here in Darlington. Let's run on board with Greg Well and see if he's lifting at all. Wellen is driving it like he usually drives it. Little bit of a mid-lift in that long corner, but I feel like that's just to save the tires. He's still putting in absolute banger lap times. Fastest on the field, the only one faster right now is Andrew Navarro and Nicholas Sacco, who are already laps down.
Yeah, it looks like Greg feels like he's got the gap that he needs, and I mean, you can see him lifting off a little just to make sure he can not push it too hard coming out of the corner, but right now he's full throttle, pedal to the metal. Ooh, a little softer there on that time around.
Well, he is approaching Derek Fulton ahead of him in 5th place, trying to lap him as Fulton's twitchy with that car.
Yeah, that's true. As you can hear the tires squealing there as well for a second.
Right on board, Derek Fulton looking back at our race leader as he closes in. And as we said, Greg Wellen, probably the cleanest car on the grid right now.
Yeah, Greg Wellen has done a very good job on keeping that car clean. I don't think he's hit anything.
Oh, Fulton to the wall! Fulton smoking! Fulton gets back onto the track. That's not a spot to go, especially if you're trying to regain control of the car. But he's got suspension problems. Fulton better watch out. 6 laps to go. And a big amount of damage. This might allow Richard Beasley to close in on the stricken 7. As Derek Fulton is just ahead of us as we ride on board Richard Beasley. He's definitely got a ton of pace compared to Fulton. Here he goes. Richard Beasley coming in like a freight train. Gets past the 7 of Derek Fulton.
Makes it very clean, too. And Fulton's just trying to make it to the end now and trying to save whatever positions he can after that hit.
Now he's got Chad Coleman on the outside. Coleman gets past for 6th place. And Rhett Tucker's brought it into the pit lane on lap 142. So he looked like he had a run, but it wasn't looking good for him. So he decided to go into the pit lane just to be safe. Derek Fulton struggling with that car. He's got Nicholas Sacco closing in right behind him. Now, and that car is just dead. But he's going to try to muscle his way through this race. As let's take a look at our race leader with 4 laps to go. About to be 3 laps to go. Greg Wellen.
And the gap right now from him to Lee is almost 2 seconds. And I believe Lee is having some issues there with Tucker. Tucker's thinking about getting in front of him.
Rhett Tucker sitting in 10th place. Just went into the pits. He's got fresh everything, trying to, get something out of this race. And I think he's being a little bit of a pest to Matthew Lee with them. 2 laps to go now here in Darlington. And there's Navarro on Fulton. Navarro gets into 8th place. Around the outside of Fulton, and Fulton to the wall.
Boy. Goes from bad to worse.
Bad to worse. No caution before the line. White flag in the air here in Darlington. And it's pretty much a victory lap for Greg Wellen after a substantial performance at the end of stage 2 with a wonderful fuel save. Wellen knew how to keep that car running as long as it could to take the win of stage number 2. And he's going to also take the most important box today. Greg Wellen up 13 spots. And he's going to take the win here in Darlington for the NRE Power Systems Cup Series Darlington 200. There's a little bit of a non-exciting race today with the low field, but it certainly had a lot of challenges to a lot of drivers. But the one who's going to be standing on top and celebrating the most would be the man from Menifee, Greg Wellen, that Papyrus Games car. Throwing it back to its old days in this throwback style of a race. Greg Wellen's going to burn it down here as he celebrates his win. And he's going to put it into the wall and celebrate with the boys. As he does that, let's cover our race results. Greg Wellen takes the win ahead of Matthew Lee with Ryan Kendall in 3rd place. Wayne Lowe in 4th, followed by Richard Beasley, Chad Coleman, Nicholas Sacco, Andrew Navarro, Derek Fulton, Rhett Tucker, Torrey Thompson, and Justin Michael in 12th place, with Brady LaBeouf and Gabriel Ellison at the end of the grid. And Ellison only got 2 laps in the car, but only 4 cars managed to win it to finish on the lead lap. And we're standing here with our race winner, ladies and gentlemen. He put on a throwback scheme today, and well, it worked out well for him. Ladies and gentlemen, Greg Wellen.
Thank you, guys. Yep, it seems to be a trend in the Cup Series in real life, so I'm glad it worked out for me as well.
It certainly worked out for you because it was just a great finish for you. And stage number 2 is pretty much stage number 2 really looked like it was the icing of the cake for you right there, as it just helped you out. And walk us through that stage number 2 victory with the fuel save.
Luckily, I noticed before Sacco did, so I let him go and I started rolling into the throttle. Realized I was still going to be short, so I just started shutting it off, heading into the corners, and I got lucky. It paid off. But on a night like tonight, at a track as hard as this, I'll take luck any day.
Yeah, especially a track hard as this. It was a extremely low field. Only 14 cars showed up. Were you expecting a low turnout today, and were you expecting the setup to be as difficult as it was?
Answering the question about the limited drivers, you know what, though? It was still the 14 best. So beating those guys means an awful lot to me. I don't care if it's 14 or 48. These are the guys that I know I got to beat week in and week out. So pulling this off is a big feather in the cap. Now what was the second question?
Did you know the setup was going to be a little bit weird and tricky today?
Darlington's always been a challenge. I guess I haven't run a race here. I ran a few practice laps, like about 10 of them, and it was slideways. And then when I got in practice, it just was what it was to me. But I kind of like that. You know, the harder it is, the better.
Well, harder it is, the better it is, and the more sweet the feeling is. Loving the new paint scheme and the throwback paint scheme. I think the boys over at iRacing are going to be loving that one as well, as you take the win in that car. Before we let you go, anyone you want to thank?
Yeah. Fortunately, they took all the papyrus, I guess, their information and brought it over here to start iRacing. So they're not too upset, I'm sure. But I got to give a shout out to the Academy and definitely to Marcia. She watches each and every one of these races, and this is her first shout out. Took 2 seasons.
Well, it took 2 seasons, and I think she's going to be very happy about that. Congrats on the win, man. Hope you have a great night.
Gentlemen, thanks on the broadcast.
As we are standing by with Matthew Lee, he was standing with Tyler.
Yeah, I'm standing by with Matthew and Lee, and boy, that was an eventful night for you, Matthew. I know start of the race was really good for you, especially getting the pole award at the start, and then just had some struggles and then getting caught up in that mess. So, I mean, just how difficult was it for you trying to get your way back up there and being able to get back up in the second place after the nightmare that you had with the incidents?
Yeah, it was middle of the race there. It was pretty rough for us. Had a great qualifying lap and was going pretty good until while we're up front. Justin got into the wall and I got into him early on. It really kind of set us back the entire race, playing catch up. Luckily, we were able to stretch a fuel mileage out there at the end of the last stage and got some good track position that we needed. So I don't know, things kind of worked out for us.
Yeah, and on that final stage, was fuel an issue at all for you, or were you worried that you weren't going to have enough fuel, seeing that a lot of these other drivers were starting to come into the pits when you were further back at one point?
When I was farther back, I knew I didn't have enough fuel to make it to the end of the stage, stage 2 there. So I was really saving like the last 5-10 laps of the run to stretch it all the way to the end of the stage. But the last stage of the race, I had plenty. With the damage and stuff, I wasn't turning the lap times as Greg. So I was kind of hoping he was going to run out a little sooner, but he didn't. He did a great job running the race he ran, keeping the car out of trouble and stuff.
Well, great run for you again, Matthew. I mean, still top 3 is really good finish for you. I know you definitely got some shout outs as well, so I'm gonna let you go ahead and get those shout outs in.
Yeah, I got to thank GTR simulators and everything they're doing for me. CG chassis, all the setups we've been working on lately. Been a lot of fun working with those guys and Phantom Racing.
Well, congrats again on the second. Heck of a race for you, especially an up and down race. We wish you luck for next week as well. And just keep up the good work because it's been an impressive run so far.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys.
Austin, I know you're with your third place finisher now of Ryan Kendall.
Yep, standing by the 68, who I've got to say is probably one of the luckiest drivers around. He was involved. He was in and around a lot of the incidents here today, but he made his way through there. And well, Ryan, how's that racing? How was avoiding some of those incidents?
Yeah, it was tough out there tonight, man. This track was real tricky, and just like they say in real life, you kind of got to race against the racetrack and not against the other guys out there. So I was just trying to race my race and keep the tires underneath it. But you definitely had to avoid everybody else. It's hard to pass here; it gets real narrow. So just did my best to keep the car clean and ended up third. So I'll take it.
Yeah, it did get a little bit nasty, especially in stage 2. So let's talk about the ending of stage 2. The fuel situation in there. Walk us through that.
Yeah, I came in, I topped off, with one to go, and honestly, I was clutching it. I wasn't even pushing it towards the end of stage 2 because I thought the leader had to pit. So I had a lap and a half to spare, and I 100% thought I was going to win that stage. I honestly kind of gave that to him right there.
It's just a heartbreak when dancing with the lady in black. How hard is Darlington compared to other tracks?
Oh, that was definitely the toughest track I've ever had to drive on iRacing. That was real hard.
Well, you certainly pulled out a heck of a performance. 14 of the best drivers here in the NRE Power Systems Cup Series. As Greg Welland was saying, only 14 cars, but it is 14 of the top best of it to outdrive the track and to outdrive them, outlast the lady in black to get up onto third is a win in my book.
Yeah, no, I'll take that. It was a good points night, and move on to next week. I'm very happy with the third tonight.
All right. Well, before we let you go, Ryan, anyone you want to thank?
Yeah, I got to thank NASRA, NRE Power Systems for putting this series on. Swag. Got to thank a couple of my Team Kendall Racing, and just thanks for everybody keeping the race clean tonight.
All right. Thank you, Ryan. Hope you have a amazing night. Over to Tyler with any closing thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, like what some of the drivers saying, it was a low count, but at the same time, these guys were some of the best racers in the league, and they were putting on a great show. I mean, had some really unfortunate mistakes that happened, which just because the setup was really loose, but they were able to fight on and be able to put on a really decent race, and we had some great stage racing and really unfortunate wrecks leading to the low amount of cars left on the lead lap, but great racing though for Greg Welland. I mean, just proving time and time again, just keeping the car clean and able to pull out a win. So looking to see how many more wins Greg Welland's going to get throughout the season. And I mean, seeing a lot of improvement from other drivers as well, including Ryan Kendall. So I'm looking forward to see how the rest of the season goes.
Yeah, this season is definitely looking to be good. And thank you, everybody, for watching here on Racecraft TV for the NRE Power Systems Cup Series. It was a good race here at Darlington. I've been joined by Tyler Vickery. I'm Austin Knight, and I hope y'all have a good night. This Racecraft TV stream is brought to you by Artesian Builds. Artesian builds high-quality custom PCs made to order for a low price. Contact Artesian Builds today to get started on your own custom PC as low as $64 a month. All Artesian builds are made live on stream. You can watch your builds and talk to the builders live at twitch.tv/Artesian Builds. For more information about Artesian Builds, check the link in the description.